Once again, live from the lab for WNBA boxing and MMA talk. If you're tuning in on the Facebook live feed, please pardon the screen image because I cracked my screen while on vacation, so I actually have my laptop hooked up to one of my TVs in the lab. So if you're looking at me and I'm looking up a lot, it's because I'm checking the screen and seeing what's going on. So please pardon me. We're working with some technical difficulties, but we're still here to bring you the best knowledge and insight in the boxing, MMA, and WNBA world. So, Paul, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been on. How you doing today, good sir? Since we just going to chop it up tonight and see if we can get some other folks to chime in. As always, before you start, Paul, not to cut you off, but you can call in on the True Radio Network hotline, 347-884-9299 as always. To comment or just listen, you can chime in on the Facebook live feed that I've started already. And Paul, how are you doing tonight, good sir? And what do we have looking on the boxing front tonight?
Carol, my brother, I'm doing great. I kind of feel guilty because this is like a period of the summer where it's probably the most dry, in terms of amount of boxing matches that it's been. Usually we get a pretty good fight every few weeks. We had one meaningful fight recently, but the heyday is coming up in September. We got Shawn Danny Garcia, we got Canelo Triple G rematch, we got Povetkin versus Joshua, which is a huge, dangerous fight for Joshua. If I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong. I don't like to comment if I didn't research it, but I may be wrong. But I think Povetkin knocked out Wilder in the amateurs. So the guy Joshua's fighting in September is no joke. But we'll definitely get to that when that time comes. The biggest event over the last couple of weeks was Tyson Fury back in the ring again. I know a lot of Americans either haven't heard of Tyson Fury, they think he's a joke, or they don't really appreciate how good he is, especially given off the fact that he's only had 2 fights since he beat Klitschko to be the lineal heavyweight champion. He had, I think he had the WBO, the IBO, WBA title. I may be wrong, I have to double check on that, but he was the unified heavyweight champion, still undefeated. So the guy is the man. Lineal champion means you beat the man who beat the man who beat the man, etc. Fury beat Klitschko, man, in 2015, won the WBA title, IBF, WBO, IBO, and the ring heavyweight title. Still hasn't lost. 6'9", 260 pounds, 85-inch reach. So he's the biggest heavyweight out. And, he looks kind of chubby, looks kind of fat. He actually was about 350 pounds last year when he was getting himself back in boxing. He's been suspended for 2 years for having a drug problem. But he's still undefeated. He lost all that weight, had his second comeback fight a few days ago, against Francesco Pianetta. And he's ready to get himself back in that mix, man. And, tentatively agreed for December, there's going to be a fight between Fury and Wilder, which is the big fight. That fight is going to set up a mega fight potentially with Joshua next year, or Povetkin, if Povetkin beats Joshua for the first ever 4 world title heavyweight unification bout. So we'll see what goes on. But Wilder and Fury, they have the deal. It's on paper. We'll see if it happens. But first, Carol, I don't know if you got a chance to see that Fury fight. I can kind of go into what Fury looked like and, kind of break that little fight down a little bit before we go on into the big picture. Or did you get a chance to see that Fury fight or no?
I didn't get a chance to see it at all. I did check out the video that the commercial we put out, and I did see the size of when he was talking to Wilder. So yeah, break down that fight and because I still haven't seen him fight live. I haven't had a chance to check out any footage, but I'm definitely going to check him out if he and Wilder going to get in the ring because you've talked very highly of him. I've never seen him in that size and that reach. That's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big dude. A lot of Americans didn't get a chance to see him fight. I saw him fight because I pretty much watch YouTube boxing all the time. I fall asleep with it on. I'm always watching boxing. So I was intrigued for this. Who is this Tyson Fury guy? I watched the special where they had a round table with heavyweights. It was Fury, it was Lennox Lewis, there was some older, champions. I can't remember. There was another guy there, Frank Bruno, and this guy Tyson Fury was there. I said, who the hell is this guy? At the time, he was a new up and coming heavyweight. So named him after Mike Tyson, and his last name is Fury. So you can't have a better boxing name than that. This dude is 6'8". This dude is, an animal in the ring. He's not entertaining to watch to a lot of people, sort of like how a lot of people aren't entertained by Bernard Hopkins, weren't entertained by Floyd Mayweather. And, this may be a surprise to a lot of people who hadn't seen the footage and the tape, but how a lot of people felt about Muhammad Ali back in his day. People weren't big fans of him like people tend to think, looking back. But Fury came back, second fight. Picked the safe guy, Francesco Pianelli. He's a nobody, but he's definitely skilled enough where Fury wasn't all the way committed. He can easily lose. Fury looked good, man. He looked like he lost about 30 more pounds since this fight he had a couple months back. That was bizarre. Where he was, kissing the guy in the ring and dancing, but Fury looked good. He tested himself out to see if he had the stamina to go 10 rounds again. He does. He's a big guy. He carries a lot of fat, even in his prime, but don't get fooled. This man has the quickest hands, the best footwork, the best head movement out of any active heavyweight right now. And that's maybe strange for some people to hear, but Fury, I've always said this, even has been vocal about saying this, that Fury is the guy who can beat every heavyweight out right now. He still hadn't lost. He's beat some good names already. Chisora, he beat him. He's a skilled guy, man, and he took Pianetta apart. It was a test. He just kind of danced around the ring. He exerted a lot of energy to see if he can take it. Kept his hands down, playing on the rope, spiking him out a little bit, catching Pianetta off guard with a lot of mid-time punches, fake to the head to open up that body, wearing out that body. He just destroyed him. And it's even funny, Carol, going out before the last bell of the final round. Fury can be seen asking his trainer, can he knock him out now? And his trainer said, no, don't. They wanted to go to this because he's prepping to fight Wilder. And you have to be on your game to fight Wilder. If you're not an athlete, if you don't have stamina against a guy like him, good night. We saw what happened to King Kong Ortiz. Didn't have stamina to keep it going. Kind of got caught slipping a little bit and rocked him. That was that. So, Fury impressed me, man. People think it's a boring fight, but he showed me that he's back. I always say, if he can get back to where he was, he's a danger. I'm a Joshua guy, but, I'm not a fan where I just root for one guy and then I close my eyes, to everyone else. Fury can beat all those dudes on a good day, but that's what I like about this heavyweight picture right now. Any of the top three heavyweights, even though I've been critical about Wilder, yes, but I've also sung his praises about his, the generational power. Any of these three guys, these top three guys can beat each other. And we still got Dillian White sitting on the outside as the number 4 who, has beaten Joshua, has almost knocked out Joshua out as a pro. So the next year, with Povetkin and Joshua, it's going to be interesting, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. So with Tyson Fury, what type of, like I said, I don't follow him much. I haven't seen him before. What type of drug issue did he have? Was he on the illegal substances like the HGH and stuff like that, or he had, other recreational drug problems?
He had other recreational drug problems. I'm not going to say, it's funny, when we grew up in a time where the worst thing somebody can call you is a crackhead, I will say, to my knowledge, he was not on crack. But he did test positive for cocaine a couple times. He's got look, he has demons, all right? He's made no secret that he has mental health issues, here and there. He's been vocal. But he seems to have finally, he kind of hit rock bottom, after he fought Klitschko, won the titles, and kind of balloon got out of control. And, he hit rock bottom. I'm not a guy to bash somebody because of their demons. I want to see how you come back. And he damn sure is, he's motivating me to get back in shape. In my personal life, that's how dramatic his comeback, getting back in shape has been. But the thing about the Wilder fight is, I don't know if Wilder knows exactly the type of guy Fury is. I say that because Fury is a psychological master. He will bait you. He will, lure you into traps. He will flip on you in a heartbeat. His thing is to catch you off guard. And that's also what makes him entertaining to some and boring to others. He's been singing Wilder's praises for the last few weeks. He's been ragging on Joshua. Oh, Joshua's a bum. He's scared to fight you. Well, see, the thing about Fury is Fury knows how to manipulate you, okay? Fury, for real, I'm not going to lie. 2 fights in after not fighting for 2.5 years, he not give him the opportunity to fight for Deontay Wilder's WBC title. It should. But Fury's a master. Frank Warren's a master promoter. He got Wilder talking positively about him in the press, saying, yeah, Fury's a real champ. He said he'll come to me and fight me in 50-50 split because he really wants to fight. But it's ridiculous because Fury needs to get a belt. Fury needs to get back in the picture, and Fury, of course, will take 50-50 because Fury's not the champ. If anything, Deontay Wilder got ripped off for getting 50-50 with the man who has only had 2 fights in 2 years. But they said the fight happened in December. Fury had to stare down with Wilder after the fight, and they had one before after Wilder defeated Deverne. They had a face-off when Fury was still active. They had their second one, and it looked nice and cordial and chummy at first, and then Fury did his typical turn, in the middle of the ring out of nowhere, and it obviously caught Wilder off guard when he said, I'm going to knock you the F out, boy. And let me just say, before anybody says it's racist, people said the same thing about Conor McGregor calling Floyd Mayweather boy. Over in the United Kingdom, England, Ireland, all that stuff, they call people boy. That's just what they do. Wilder looked kind of done, like, wow, okay. He was smiling a little bit, but that's what Fury is. Fury's a mastermind. And over the next few months, hopefully they do get this fight. It's not a date set yet. It's supposed to be December. But it's going to be entertaining to build up for this fight. If Americans hadn't seen Fury and are familiar with his antics yet, man, I tell you, pay attention to the build-up for Fury versus Wilder, because it's going to be entertaining, it's going to be interesting, it's going to be fun, it's going to be a lot of unexpected things happening, so stay tuned for that, definitely.
Well, let's talk about Wilder a little bit. He hasn't been active for a little while now, and if he's going and looking at his fight against Fury, how is he even going to be, in condition to fight this dude who you said he's already probably underestimated because of, whatever his past or him, playing the mind games or whatever. How is this, I'm a Wilder fan, but I'm starting to get concerned about some of the stuff that you've been pointing out with, like you said, his management and with the way they've been, selective or / ducking fights against certain people. What do you see for Wilder coming up if he is going to fight Fury in December?
I'm kind of... See, the thing about Wilder, they always say puncher's chance. And Wilder's always in shape. That's one thing I'll say about Wilder. He's never far from being in fight condition. This guy's an athlete. I've stated before, I think he's the best athlete in the heavyweight division. He hadn't fought since Luis Ortiz, and that was in March. Now, this fight was to take place, the typical, run is March, September. Maybe if you really want it, you can get another for December. But Wilder's going straight from March to December with a guy like Fury, and I'm not saying that may present a problem for Wilder, but if you look at Wilder, he hasn't been the most active of fighters over the last few years. Now, I'll talk a lot of this being 40, Typically, you get 3 fights a year when you're someone like Joshua, when you're 20 fights and under. But this time I was kind of amazed that Wilder not getting that fight in the middle. Now he can say because they were negotiating a potential date with Joshua, that's fine. But obviously, I think I said on the show that fight wasn't going to happen this year, and they had no intention of making that fight happen this year. I don't know who Wilder is going to spar against to mimic a guy like Fury. Again, Fury's 6'9". Wilder is usually the tallest guy in the ring. He's 2 inches taller than Wilder. Has a 2-inch reach on Wilder. Is quick and fast and has a ridiculous IQ and can fight southpaw and orthodox. So if there's a guy that can give Wilder trouble, it's Fury, definitely. I mean, I don't know how many guys bigger than him Wilder has fought. I don't know how many guys who have such a ring IQ to that level of Fury that Wilder has been in the ring with. Someone that can jab him and keep him back. Someone who can throw his right hand out and kind of buy himself in space. Someone who can, stand, in a southpaw pretty much and with his angles negate that big power right hand. Sort of like what Ortiz is able to do. So, I'm not going to say that Wilder is definitely going to lose. I know a lot of Americans assume Wilder's going to win. They'll see Fury and think he's some big, slow, unorthodox, weird guy, but he's skilled, man. This guy's a highly skilled, highly mobile, very large guy who has a lot of experience. And Fury better be, Wilder better be ready for Fury, man, because it's not going to be easy. But with that being said, This is only Fury's third fight back. Yeah, you can conserve your energy and go 10 rounds against a bum, but what's going to happen when you're in there when it gets a guy, against a guy like Wilder, who's a better athlete than you are, who may present something that he hasn't seen before, for example. You know, a lot of guys in the United Kingdom aren't particularly loose with their punches like Wilder is, so they both present problems for each other. I'm not going to make a prediction yet, but it's going to be an interesting fight. And I say interesting because, you know, I like to see technical ability in a chess match. I don't typically go for just knockouts. So for me, that's interesting. For others, that fight may be boring, but I'm looking forward to it. And I wanted to see that fight actually more than I wanted to see a Joshua Wilder fight, at least, you know, first. So I'm looking forward to that one, Carl. That's going to be a good one if they actually make it happen.
Yeah, we know how that goes. It's definitely interesting to see how that plays out. But a quick segue, if you're also listening and watching other things, we got the NFL on right now, preseason. You got the Eagles versus the Browns. The Browns are up 5-0 and forced another turnover. Also have the Chicago Cubs versus Cincinnati Reds. The Cubs are up 3-1. We don't even want to talk about the Nats. That's another whole story that we're going to get into on Monday on Sports on the Hill podcast. But we also have, getting back to boxing, we also have the Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter fight coming up soon. You were talking about, Paul. Let's get into this vacant title that's in the welterweight division, and these two fighters that's about to try to get that title in this upcoming fight.
Yes, indeed. That's a good fight coming up, man. You know, they both former champions. They're both fighting. Keith Thurman's vacated WBC welterweight title. Keith Thurman hasn't fought in over a year. Doesn't seem to be interested in fighting anyone ever again. I don't really know what's going on with him. But he's fighting Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter, man. They're gonna go at it for that title, and that's a pretty good fight. That's one of those underrated fights that I don't know if people are. It's easy to lose track of it, especially with the Triple G Canelo rematch coming up only a week or two after. But Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter are two guys who don't back up. Those two dudes stick their heads in there. You know, they go for it. You're not going to see a lot of, you know, you're going to see boxing skill and defense now. Don't get me wrong, but you're not going to see, you know, someone chasing someone around all night. You're not going to see, you know, guys posturing and not really doing much. You're going to see dudes going at it. You know, Danny Garcia only has that one loss on his record, and he lost to Keith Thurman. Shawn Porter had 2 losses on his record. He lost to Carol Brooks, and he lost to Keith Thurman. So both these guys have experience fighting Keith Thurman, but now, you know, Shawn Porter, he's back in that ring again. He's pretty active on a consistent basis. His last fight, you know, was last November, but that was probably his longest layoff in quite a while. You know, he's looking to get back in that ring. You know, Danny Garcia is a guy with a devastating left hook, and he's known for this weird blind left hook that he throws, and he catches you with it, it's good night, you know. So Shawn Porter definitely is going to have to be ready, but at the same time, Danny Garcia is going to have to be ready too. Now, Danny Garcia has been in a lot of wars. He's fought guys who, you know, come forward. He's fought pressure guys. He's fought guys like Lamont Peterson from DC. You know, he knocked out Amir Khan. You know, he has a lot of names on his record, just like Shawn Porter does. Shawn Porter beat Adrian Broner. You know, he beat Granados last year. So they're both going to be, you know, going right forward. Shawn Porter's a pressure fighter a while. Danny Garcia kind of stands, I'm not going to say stationary, but he kind of likes to work in the phone booth. Shawn Porter's the opposite. He likes to move around. He you know, kind of like Shane Mosley. He goes, I mean, a mile a minute. He's throwing punches and he's coming in. You know, he's willing to eat a shot or two, to land a shot or two. He has good power. He's a strong guy. He's used to going the distance. So, you know, it's going to be a good fight. That's a fight that's hard to call, actually. Initially, I was saying I think Danny Garcia was going to win, but I don't know, man. Looking at these dudes, I've seen them both fight a lot. This is a fight where it has potential to go either way. And I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up going the distance. You know, a lot of these slugs that you expect to end in a knockout have a lot of action. And then sometimes they go the distance versus some of these technical skill matches you expect to see that to go the distance, like what we saw Winky Wright against Bernard Hopkins. You expect that to go the distance, and then you got guys getting knocked down in the first round. So, you know, that's a great fight coming up on September 8th. So if you have to watch a fight, you know, you don't want to order that I'm sure $75 to $85 Triple G, Canelo fight. If you want to see a fight with some action, September 8th, you got, Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia fighting for that vacant title. And also, local guy, Alexander, Virginia native, Brandon Quarles, he's fighting on the undercard. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I hope I'm able to see that bout, whether it be streamed or whether it be broadcast. But, so that's going to be a pretty big night.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be interested in that Shawn Porter fight. You say that's going to be on with that Showtime Boxing?
I think it's going to be on Showtime. I think. The thing is, you got so many new contracts going out now, whether it be Premier Boxing Champions, Top Rank, HBO, Showtime. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with who's affiliated with who now. But I think it may be on Showtime. I think you're right, Carol. So don't quote me, but check that fight for Showtime on September 8th.
Yeah, we'll definitely put a post out of something since it'll be around the time we have another episode. I can't even look at the calendar right now, but I think we'll post it up. I know I'm gonna definitely check it out because you've definitely opened my eyes to Danny Garcia and Mikey Garcia. I don't know what it is with these Garcia dudes you put me on to, but they definitely are some good fighters, and I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for that. What else? I saw you posted some fights you down in Charlotte. I know you mentioned some things to me earlier. You want to talk about some of those fights that you've been checking out down in your way?
Oh, man, I follow a North Carolina native named Michael Williams Jr. He's out of Fayetteville, fighting under Roy Jones. I've seen him fight twice now. He's 7-0. He actually fought another time since the fight I posted a couple weeks ago. And he's ready, man. 7-0, 6 knockouts. He's the real deal. Roy Jones thinks highly of him. The boxing world thinks highly of him. People are taking notice. And he's the real deal, man. Michael Williams Jr. Definitely be on the lookout. Remember that name, Michael Williams Jr. The dude has skills. He's ready. He's primed. He's building his way up. And you're definitely going to be hearing about him, over the next few years. So I want to say he's only 17, 18 years old too. So he's a good dude, man. Good, humble. Skill, has great defense, great offense, great counterpunching, great footwork, great skills, great chin. He has, to me, he's the whole package. And it's scary when I realize, man, he's only like 17 years old. So definitely look out for him. He's already calling out Ryan Garcia, which is Ryan Garcia is the guy that everybody calls out, whether it be Devontae Davis or Tevin Farmer or now Michael Williams Jr. People like to call out Ryan Garcia, who's the fighter on the Golden Boy right now, but out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, if you don't know him, you will know him. Michael Williams Jr. He's a beast. Definitely look out for him.
Yeah, you mentioned Roy Jones Jr. as his trainer, whatever. I saw a fight, I guess it was a couple of weeks back, where Roy was a trainer. How many fighters is Roy Jones training right now? And I'm not sure I'm not sure who the fighter was, but it was an interesting fight. This fighter like he was losing, and I'm not sure what the end result was. But how long has Roy been training, and how many fighters does he have out there? That's something that caught me by surprise. I didn't know anything about.
Well, I don't think Roy is a primary, full-time trainer. He helps. I may be wrong, but I do think that he mainly does. He coaches some guys that he has interest in. He works out with guys periodically, whether they're in camp, they come visit him. He's not a full-time trainer. I know he's not Michael Williams' full-time trainer, but he works out with a lot of guys. I've seen some guys fighting, under Roy's guidance, or just guys who are, associated with Roy. And, I've seen one thing that I do notice, and this is with any good trainer, if you have a legendary boxer that trains you, or, you're affiliated with, sometimes you may run the risk of trying to emulate things that fighter may have done. And with Roy Jones, anybody who was a Roy Jones fan, if you came up in the 90s, you weren't a Roy Jones fan, and you must, live under a rock. He did some things that nobody is able to do with Roy Jones. So that doesn't really fit everybody well, but I'll say this about Michael Williams Jr. He has his own style. He boxes, he pretty much can box, whether he's on the outside, whether he's on the inside fighting close in a phone booth, whether he's, using his angles and climbing you up and whooping you around. He pretty much has the whole package, man. So, you can definitely see certain aspects of his game that you can tell Roy Jones influenced him in, but he's not trying to be Roy Jones, which you saw a lot of guys doing, after staying with Ali. You had a lot of guys trying to be like Ali, and now lot of guys trying to be like Roy. Then now you got a lot of guys trying to be like Floyd. So, but Michael Williams, he's his own fighter, and Roy, you know, I saw an interview with Roy a couple days ago, talking about Michael Williams. He was impressed. He said he's showing him everything that he looks for, and he's definitely primed. And I'm expecting him to be a contender in the next, I would say, 2 years.
I would definitely be on the lookout for him. You said he's a local guy. So we definitely love the footage you give from when you're down there in Charlotte, getting some of that behind-the-scenes early looks at some of these guys that we've been on the lookout for. You mentioned, like I said, we talked about Shawn Porter, you talked about Dillian White. Is there any other guys that you've been checking out lately that's caught your eye? You said it's the slower time of the boxing season, but there's always something going on. Did you check out anything that's caught your eye in the boxing world?
Well, I brought up Ryan Garcia a minute ago. We talked about him on this show before. The young guy, fight with Golden Boy, 15-0, 13 knockouts. A 20-year-old guy, just fresh face, real talented, great right hand. Showed people he has a knockout punch in his left hand too. Positive guy. Yeah, he's fighting on September 1st, so he's looking to add another name to his resume. We got in Carlos Morales. I'm expecting Ryan Garcia to whoop up on him and to give him the business. This is going to be another 10-round fight. I think this is his third career 10-round fight. He won his last 10-round fight by unanimous decision, so he's shown that he can go the distance. He's shown that he has that skill. That stamina, and he's ready for the big league, and he's only 20. He's been calling out, Javante Davis. Javante Davis has been calling him out. That they're at that weight class, featherweight, super featherweight, junior lightweight, lightweight weight class, where so many guys, man. There's so many guys. You got guys like Mikey Garcia who straddle the line between 135 and 140, and Lomachenko going from 130 to 135 to potentially 140, and then we can talk about the welterweights because Ryan Garcia is 5'10". That's about that weight that height where you can fight 147, and he's only 20, so he's gonna put some weight on. So I see Ryan Garcia probably. I don't know if necessarily he's going to compete for the championship at super featherweight. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they want to move him up probably to, maybe super lightweight, junior welterweight, or welterweight, which is interesting because then you get into that, magic word, Carol, that magic weight class, welterweight. I always talk about with guys, potential Mikey Garcia, potential at times Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia, Shawn Porter, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Kell Brooks, in and out of that class. So you get a lot of guys at that weight class, man. So I'm expecting Ryan Garcia to make a name over the next couple of years in super featherweight and then probably lightweight. And then we'll see where he goes from there. But he fights again September 1st, 2018. I assume, now don't quote me, I assume this is going to be on ESPN. I assume now. I may be wrong, but he's not going to be on cable yet. He's not going to be on HBO. And there's no undercard for September 1st that you'll be a member of. So just look out for Ryan Garcia, upcoming guy, man, 20-year-old, 15-0 on the Golden Boy. He's looking to get his name up there to get a title shot soon, and I'm expecting to see a title shot come his way probably within the next year. He's fighting on September 1st.
All right, that's some good stuff right there. I'll make sure I'll be looking out for that on ESPN because now, you got me back interested in boxing. I've seen, you told me about some of these guys, and you showing me the footage, and I'll be checking out your page. So I'm definitely going to be checking out some of these fights that's upcoming and see what's going on, so I can learn to chime in with you and EJ, and when we have all our experts all together. Unfortunately, like I said, we couldn't have everybody together this episode, but we still want to rock and roll and do what we do. Paul, you know what? It's an early night. We got football on. We got baseball on. Getting ready for some boxing coming up. We might just call it an early night tonight, man. I'm going to wrap up with some WNBA real quick with the Mystics having their playoff game. I'm not really sure the format. That's why we have our insider who will be on our next episode, because as I said, she was at the game that just ended. And that was a 96-64 victory over the Los Angeles Sparks, in which Latoya Sanders led the Mystics with 14.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 3 blocks. Candace Parker led the Sparks with 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and no blocks. So I'm not sure the format because that was an Eastern team against a Western team, and it says postseason on the schedule. So I have no idea the format, but that's why we have Jasmine B calling in the next episode to break down how the playoff format is. I'm gonna see if I can get maybe a Facebook Live with her side by side like Dujanane did, myself did for the Redskins training camp weekly, just to keep you guys in the loop because I know a little bit, but I don't know all about the WNBA. I just started following closely myself. But that's why we bring experts on the show. Because if we don't know, we're going to bring somebody to you that does know what they're talking about, just like Paul, the boxing guy. So, Paul, let the folks know where they can find you at, and so we can get up out of here. I'm going to find a song for us to exit out of while you breaking it down for the people.
Well, definitely, no doubt. Every other Thursday, you can catch me right here on True Radio Network, Sports on the Boxing Special. It's just been a rough year for me, whether it be on the boxing page or on my normal home on True Talk on True Radio Network on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. It's just been so rough. I know Carol told you guys I got an army, I got the clan, and it's kind of rough sometimes to be back. But typically now I'm on Tuesdays, True Talk on True Radio Network. Even if I'm not on there, y'all need to check it out anyway. True Talk Tuesdays, only on True Radio Network, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Definitely check it out.
All right, Paul, I'm going to let you get out of here. I'm about to get this soundtrack ready to get up out of here. Appreciate everybody tuning on the Facebook Live feed. Like I said, pardon me looking up at the TV screen the whole time because I have a busted laptop screen now. You heard me talk about my laptop all the time. This time I did some self-inflicted damage on my laptop. So bear with me. Appreciate y'all tuning in. About to end the feed now. Go follow Sports on the Hill podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check us out. Just Google us, SportsOTHP. It's going to pop up. It has no choice. You know how we roll. But CP3 in the lab, going to you. Appreciate all the love and support. Shutting this feed down. Catch you next time.